Come on in, have a seat. If you haven't done so already, why not? Subscribe and like. And if you leave a comment, I will reply to all comments. With that being said, let me just address one thing. Last week's episode was an experiment, and I really wanted to see how serious people are on the online dating, outside dating, going back in the day dating, and I guess some of the things that I expressed and how I was sharing my life experiences. This is what happened to me personally. And I guess I did share some co-workers experiences because it was really eye-opening. I'm not on this platform to male bash. I'm not on this platform to woman bash. I'm actually on this platform to share my experience for someone that may be going through it too. It's just my opinion. And maybe we can together have a conversation. If you leave a comment, have a conversation and figure it out why dating today is so difficult. It's worse than a Rubik's Cube. So this is why I created this platform, not only just to help me, but to help those that may be going through something similar. After my show, I received a call from a good friend. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Kiwi's gonna say it. Let's take a listen to this call.
No, I was just gonna say that your episode, I guess it was about Can You Keep Me? Or at least that was the title. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the premise of the title, but I'm not sure why the episode was Can You Keep Me?
It was an experiment, and it was Will You Keep Me? The reason why is because we're all out here dating, right? And we're all trying to find somebody to be compatible with and fall in love with, and it just goes to show how many men that actually commented on that little post said yes without even knowing me.
Yes. We all know that though.
And it's pathetic. And then like I said in my show, there was a couple of those guys that actually said something. I've actually been out on a date with them, prior, and you're
Mhm.
talking about absolutely, oh yes, you're the great, and but yet, huh? The fuck are you talking about, bruh? So I was just running an experiment just to see, you know, the fuckery that's going on out here. That was the purpose. I don't give a shit about whether or
Uh,
not you're gonna keep me. I wasn't really like
no.
asking that like seriously because I want someone to take me off the market. You know, I do, but I don't. If that makes sense.
Right. Which is confusing, right? You do, but you don't. So the thing is, as I was listening, um, your well, let me preface by saying, uh, like, I'm not trying to be derogatory. However, your commentary on dating is generally superficial. You don't go deep into it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, Also, not saying to stop saying this because it is something that you're basing your brand off of is keeping it real, but you don't have to say that every 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if you're keeping it real, we'll be able to see that
Okay.
and we'll be able to hear that. You don't have to
Yes.
keep saying, but I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Because if you keep saying it over and over, now we're thinking that you're not,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Um, but like try to go a little bit deeper into it of the psyche, like maybe why, right?
Mm.
Why? was this experiment conducted? Yes, we know, like, niggas ain't shit and niggas bullshit. Everybody
Mm,
knows that, but
mm,
what's the deeper part of it, right? Because your experiences are not unlike any other woman's, right? Because all
yeah.
the women are having issues, but it's kind of what is the deeper part of it? Because we all know niggas ain't shit. So what's the deeper piece to it? Like, what's the psyche part of it? Like, what is your pull and takeaway, and how it's affecting you and your dating experience?
So, and that's actually an absolutely amazing observation because I think I speak on it in several of my, episodes. I say, you have to work with your mental, and if you're not mentally, and I even said that like when I was closing, like, you know, it just goes to show what type of man you are. Like if you're out here talking about, hey, Kiwi, I can't wait to see you. And I'm like, okay, when? Then nigga, what the fuck you say it for? You see what I'm saying? There's something wrong with you. You're not really genuinely trying to invite me out. You're wanting me to stroke your fucking ego, and I don't have time for that. I'm not out here to. I'll stroke your ego if you're my man, you know. But
Hmm.
I don't have time to stroke your ego because you just want to play some bullshit ass games. You need a simple bitch that falls for those things that will has low self esteem herself, so you guys could both feed off of each other. So yeah, I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it because that's the deeper issue. Is because I'm saying that I'm mentally ready to deal with a relationship on a totally different level than what I was used to, and always getting the same outcome. But I had to do the work. It was actually you. You pointed it out. Like you got some issues. You got some trauma. You got some things that you got to deal with to heal mentally, right? And then once you do that, what's the next step? But I also talk about doing some self-reflecting. You know what I mean? Being a
Hmm.
woman and a man of your word. And if you're not doing all of the above, then why are you out here? But I get it because when I had a conversation with um this other guy, he was like, it's the game. Ain't nobody taking this shit serious. It's a game. And it's like, wow. So there's really not people out here wanting to find love? I mean, if we find it, we find it. If we don't, we don't.
Right.
It's sad.
So, and that's kind of, well, it's sad, but it isn't, right? It's actually not a bad way to look at things because at the end of the day, people want some form of intimacy and sex that they don't necessarily have to get that from a romantic partner, right? You can have intimate moments with your friends, with people that you're not romantically linked with, and you can obviously have sex with people that you're not romantically linked with, even
Hmm.
though it would be quote unquote sweeter, right? Much better if you get it from someone that you're romantically linked with, but that isn't always the case. So they're just trying to find the people who can give them what they seek, what they need, and not necessarily have to have a romantic situation. Also, there's the piece of your standards and how you see dating is not how other people see dating, and also being okay with that, right?
Yeah.
So if a guy approaches you and basically just wants to have sex and you already know that type of information, if you continue to um, entertain that, then he's going to be thinking that you're with the shits. If you cut it off and say, no, this is not going to work, I mean, that also speaks to your integrity and your boundaries and your self worth because I don't have time to waste on you because that's not what I'm looking for. So have a great day. Right.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
so there's a two-way street there too, right? Um, I know, like, so it also, well, I think a good um, podcast, a good episode would be a self-reflection as well. What do I contribute to, or you, what do I contribute to the pool of dating? right?
Mhm.
My habits, my thought process, the way I see dating, how does that contribute to guys saying, man, it ain't no shit out here, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm single, right? If I'm single, that means I'm contributing it. How am I contributing it? And that maybe have to go into a deep dive of how you're contributing to the dating pool as it is. Because guys say the same thing as women do, as you stated. But it also is, well, shit. The guys that are meeting you, they're probably coming away like, man, ain't shit out here, right? That's the other side of the coin that we're not speaking about,
Mm.
right? Because when they walk away from you, then it's like, man, I just wasted my time with that.
So tell me if this is a true statement, because I was told
Hmm.
that I am very uh, straightforward, brutally honest.
Hmm.
I disclose, the good, bad, and the ugly for me, about me, because I'm a
Hmm.
true believer that if you're gonna sit at my table and eat, you already know all this shit about me. So going forward, it shouldn't be a discussion. You know,
Hmm.
am I opening up or disclosing too much too early on? And so, because I was told the reason why they're coming at you is because you're a challenge. You're saying you don't do this, that, and the other. You're all about this, you're all about that, and
Hmm.
being truthful. And it's like, you know, you sometimes having conversations is like pulling teeth. It's like, so are you going to tell me about yourself? I'm I'm genuinely trying to get you to know who I am as a person, and I could come off very strong and aggressive. I get that part, right? Because when you're serious about a matter like your job, your kids, being married, being single, you're supposed to be putting your best foot forward, not just
Hmm.
the bullshit. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just opening up too soon or showing too much aggression. If I just need to act like I'm stupid, like I don't know.
So the thing is that the reason that a lot of men are attracted to you is because of your aggression, right? So as quiet as it's kept, a lot of men have mommy issues, and you're coming across with mommy energy, so they're attracted to it, right?
Uh huh.
Um, some of your um, triggers from men, right, have been able to protect you in a way where you're pushing off, right? Some men kind of like that avoidance to a certain extent because they may have an anxious attachment, which that's a whole rabbit hole we don't necessarily have to go around. But the discussion that we're currently having about like attachment styles and why they do certain things, that's the deeper part that I was talking about that we need to speak about in your podcast, right?
Yes.
So when you're talking about attachment styles, when you talk about love languages, stuff like that, that all pieces together. Whether they have self worth, whether they don't have self worth, their childhood, how did that all come together?
Mm.
All of those small little pieces come together to where they are as adults. So I recently saw something on the internet. It was from a therapist. She basically said that I know we think of adults as adults, but adults are actually children, right? They just have more time on this earth. But in real life, they act like children because they are children, right? They're just older, right? And had more experiences, but that doesn't necessarily make them an adult, right? If they didn't fix what they needed to fix when they were little, then they're still that child, right? And there's a whole bunch of children around here dating other children, and they don't know what to do because they don't know what they want, right? Women want this guy to be tall, good looking, built, six figures, all this, and they can't rub two pennies together. And they over
Mm.
here calling men broke, but they're broke
Come
themselves,
on now.
right? So the thing is that okay, well, who are you to say that I'm broke and you're below the poverty line, right? Now, if you got something going for yourself, then great, fantastic. If you do make six figures, then of course you can demand that from someone else, right? But if you ain't got it, then and you're just trying to be on the come up, then you're already in that relationship for the wrong reasons, right? So it's just the mindset, right? If you have a child's mindset, you will have that, especially when it comes to this BS about traditional versus modern and the weird spectrum in between that, right? And people wanting traditional values, but also wanting modern ones as well, right?
Hmm.
And getting angry, oh, you're not a traditional man, oh, you're not a traditional woman. But you yourself are being modern, even though you want the traditional person. And it's kind of like, okay, what do y'all want in real life? Most people don't know what they want. They'll have an idea of what they want, and then they get it and realize that's not what they want, or it's not in a package that they want,
Yeah.
right? And it's not presented in the way that they want. And now, oh, well, I still want this, even though it never works out for me. And it's also the concept of not being able to be malleable and to change because, oh, well, my parents did this. So it's like your parents weren't living under Trump, not like starting a new relationship. No,
Yeah.
this is a whole different generation. This is a whole different way of how we look at relationships now. As much as we don't want it to be, it's a whole different climate. Women are working by the droves now, right? You need two incomes just to survive here for the
Mm.
most part. So to say that your woman got to stay home while you go to work and struggle for a whole bunch of hours that she can't see you, and then you think, oh, I come home, but now she wants something out of me, and I don't want her touching me, and I was like, she wants something. She ain't seen you all day. But then you get mad if she, cheats on you or splits up. I've been out here working, and this, I was like, she ain't seen you. I was like, for it to be a relationship, it's not just about the money. Like, there actually has to be a relationship. You have to pour into your woman as much as she pours into you. But if you're pouring from an empty cup, then what's the point,
Yeah.
right? It's all in the mindset. People have different ways of how they look at relationships and marriage and what their quote unquote role is. Um, I was when I was listening to your podcast, I heard like, what role do you play? Right.
Yeah.
And you kept saying that. What role do you play? What role you have to fit into play? And I was like, if you're playing a role, you're acting.
Mm.
Are we in a TV show? Are we in a movie? Are we in a Broadway play? Like, what are we doing here? Or are we in a relationship? Right? If we're in this together, we're in this together. We have certain goals that we can have individually and as a couple. And as
Yeah.
long as we're taking care of those, it doesn't matter who does what as long as it gets done. Right? Now, there could be a leader to say, hey, these are our goals. This is how we can go about it, and be open to change if things are not working. But to say that you're going to play this role in my life, then it seems it seems not genuine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you're in this position that you may not necessarily want to be, but that's the role you're playing, right? That's the character that you're being, right?
Mm.
Because there's a difference between Dorothy off of Golden Girls and then B. Arthur. She has a role to play, which is Dorothy. Is that truly her? No. But that's the role she's playing.